Hi, and welcome to another reading with me, Leenna. So today we're going to be looking at Mercury Retrograde and what project can you go back to revising, reworking, or completing over the next Mercury Retrograde period. So that's normally a 3-week period. So if you're not really interested in Mercury Retrogrades or work with them or working within them, you can just take it for the next 3 weeks. So before we get into the reading, I just wanted to let you know that I will be doing a tarot course for writers, which can also be for other creatives, and that's going to be with Savvy Authors. It's going to be hosted by Savvy Authors. It's going to be from August 12th to August 18th, 2019. It's online, so you can do it from anywhere that you like, and it's about $25 for members, $35 for non-members, and if you book before the 5th of August 2019, then you get $5 off. So I will put the link below. Please click on it if you're interested, check it out, and if you're eager, I'll see you on the course. So today we've got 3 options for you. We have this, I think it's some form of Chryso. I'm not really sure what it is, but I think it's Chryso. And then we've got some really roughened up Angelite. It's very soft stone, so it was in my bag and it untumbled itself. And then we've got some really beautiful honey colored calcite. So you choose 1, 2, or 3, and let's see what project is great for you to work over the next 3 weeks or over the next Mercury Retrograde. So I'm using the Frideborg Tarot and the Steampunk Tarot as well. And it's very interesting. So we have the Queen of Swords, we have the 10 of Engines, the Devil, Spring-Heeled Jack, which is actually one of my favorite cards in this deck, but which is actually Death. And then we also have Defense and we have Protection. So the project that you probably want to really get into at the moment, for some of you it's not a project, it's actually an activity. If you were wanting to study some form of defense or self-defense, then it's telling you the next 3 weeks is a good time for you to practice or to get some kind of certification, to get your next grading. Perhaps you put off your grading and that kind of thing. Or it's a good time for you to start practicing whatever it was. It's also a good time for you to break old habits that were proving too burdensome and that were holding you back and that were just draining you of energy. So it could be that you started off a project with someone and they got too controlling, or they started to take aspects of it away from you, and that they're not working as a collaborator so much, or they're just not working as a partner so much in terms of the project, and that you really need to change that aspect. You need to go your own way. You need to start either moving away from the project and start working on your own ideas, or you need to start discussing with them the fact that it's not working for you, and try not to get defensive. You need to still maintain the aspects that you had before so that you don't lose out in the future. As to actual projects that you were working on, it's the projects that speak to your shadow self. So if you are a writer, it could be that you could write about aspects of your life that you felt bonded to, about parts of your life where you experienced certain addictions or certain restraints, or where that really brought a lot of transformation into your life. Or it could be that you may paint something that's very dark, that's not really what you're known for, or that you really started to and then you didn't feel it, and then, you know, now's the time that you can complete it, but in a very different manner. And I don't mean taking something that's very dark and really spoke to you at the time and then changing it into all fluffy, you know, fluffy bunny type things, but it's taking it and putting in elements of transformation that maybe speak to you more now. So it could be that if it was all sort of darkness and stuff like that, you know, if you had a whole lot of black and blues and dark browns in your project, that you may start to bring in maybe some purple or some yellow or some red even, you know, like I keep getting drawn to this card that makes it pop, which should be such a dark kind of, I mean, Spring Hill Jack as well was not a good person to meet in London at that time, but just the way they made it is very inventive. It takes something that should have been dark and twisted, and it's twisted in another way that makes it inventive, and maybe even you know, it's even with the moon there, it makes it even more perhaps hopeful. So I think many of you know already what this is, and that it's something that you put off because perhaps it was a little bit too dark, and with the energy shifts that we're going through and the life issues that we've had to work through over the past 2 or 3 years, it's not a place that you wanted to go through, because a lot of you would have been working on it when you were going through some kind of depression or some kind of serious anger issues, and it's uncomfortable for you to remember that period in your life. But it's saying that you can close that chapter by completing this project, but not in the way that you first envisioned it, but in a way that brings a little bit of lightness, that kind of breaks through and brings, you know, turns it into one with a glimmer of hope or a glimmer of redemption that probably you didn't have planned initially. And that it's not something you need to sink into. You don't have to process those feelings again. It's about adding another dimension to it, which you feel comfortable adding to it without compromising the initial work, but which is truer to who you are now. So I hope that made sense to you. Well, before I do that, let's see what the outcome of it is. I'm going to use the LeNormand for you, and we've got time, we've got the man, and we've got ring. So you're going to find that in time, it's going to help you commit to, you're either going to be able, it's going to help you commit in love, or it's going to help you commit into whatever you've been putting off for a while. For some of you, it's reconnecting with a sibling, with a younger brother or sister, or someone who has been estranged from you. And for others of you, it's showing you your own commitment. You're committing to something and you are completing it, so it's going to give you that satisfaction. It's going to give you that sense of release and that sense of pleasure. And I think many of you would actually won't release this work into the world, that you'll actually end up putting it away somewhere. But that's okay, because this is about your self-growth. It's not about your work. It's about you. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to you. And we're going to go on to option number 2, which I think is this one, hopefully, the Angelite. So let's see, what project should you work on during this next Mercury retrograde or the next 3 weeks. So you've got the 8 of Cups, which is exits. You've got the Chariot. So those of you that are working, you've got the 8 of Airships and the Ace of Submersibles. So those of you that work with cars, that work with bikes, especially if you do paintings on them or other artwork, decals and things like that, that is what you should be working on. it's time for you to complete your paintwork on your car or on that bicycle or motorbike, boat, whatever means of transport that you're talking about that you lift. For others, it could even be a plane, and it doesn't even have to be one that is life-size. It could be a model that you're working on, but it's one that you used to love working on and that you really, really wanted to. For others of you, it's a song, a poem, or a love story, or even a screenplay that you were writing for someone who you were really in love with at the time. I think you think of this person as your true love, but there's a distance between you. There's an actual physical distance. And it could be that you don't actually know where they are and what they're doing, but that song and those sentiments are something that you need to express, and that others will need to express as well. Sorry, this is actually the 8 of Swords. So you've got 2 8s here. But whatever's going on, it's because of love. You love either working on these cars or things that move, or you love this person so much. And actually, I don't know if you love the person so much as you love the feelings that they evoked in you, and that the way they made you feel. But you feel it's true love, and you feel that it's something that will always endure, and you need to express it. But you also need to take out your ego from the equation. You need to make it so that it's accessible to everyone, because this one I feel has commercial potential, but we're going to have a look at it now. And it's songwriting. It's got more to do with writing than to actually writing musical chords and musical beats and things like that. I don't even know how you write music, but it's got to do with lyrics, with words, and it's something that you've had pent up in a long time and that you need to release. But you, like I said, you need to take yourself out of the equation once you've finished write it, or you need to take the other person out of the equation once you finish write it. And by this I mean, if you title the song or the poem or the story after them, that you need to take out their name, that you need to take out their identifying characteristics, and so that it's accessible to everyone. So let's see what the outcome of this will be. We've got the clover, the mountain, and the flowers. So for some of you, if you were hoping for a reconnection with this person, it could bring you back together. It could, sort of work as a manifestation tool to bring someone who helps you feel the same way, or who helps you recover if you need to from this relationship. But whatever it's bringing in, it's bringing something good. It's bridging the gap between you and someone that loves you or that you love. And it's also bridging the different aspects of yourself. So if you're not going to reunite with this person who you're writing about, that you're singing about, it's going to bring into your life someone who is even better, who that you will date. They may not be very close to you at the moment. They could be quite far away. So there's that element of travel. But it's going to be almost like a gift that comes to you in the form of love. And for many of you, I feel that you're going to be touring, or you're going to be singing, and that there's also money that's coming to you, and it's not showing in the cards. But if that was something that you were always working towards, then it's going to come to you. And it's because of that emotion, the underlying emotion that's there. And I think a lot of people don't see you in that vulnerable light very often, and that's what really makes it. So if you normally write, like rock metal or industrial rock or something like that, then you sing this song or this ballad or whatever, it's gonna show people a different side to you or what you can produce, and that is very good for you. But for most of you, it's bringing in romance, it's bringing in a connection, and it's crossing this divide. But it could take a few months. This is the beginning of it, and it's something that you need to say to the world, and you need to share with the world. But like I said, don't make it so that the person that you're singing about is obvious. If you're meant to reconnect with them, they will know that it's them that you're singing about, and they will probably try and connect with you again if you are open to it. And if it's not them, then it's someone else who will be the new love in your life, who brings you that same inspiration, who brings you that same joy, and who's very supportive of your career and of your creativity. So I hope that made sense to you. That was if you chose the Angelite. So let's go on to our last one. If you chose the Calcite, what project can you finish, complete, or revise over the next 3 weeks, or over this Mercury retrograde period? And you've got Judgment, you've got Temperance, which I actually love in this deck. Just love the colors. You've got the 5 of Airships and the Navigator, or the Knight of Leviathans or Pentacles. You've got Harmony, and you've got Fortune. I'm thinking of one of my subscribers, and I'm pretty sure this is hers. You probably know who you are if you're watching this. But anyway, so the project that you should go back to is one that kind of crashed and burned before, and it was because of your lack of judgment, or that you didn't have the right team around you. And now that you're in a more balanced place, now that you have all this tools and skills and abilities that you didn't have back then, now you can work on it in a much more logical, stable, practical way, and that's going to bring you harmony and fortune. So the reason it didn't work before is that you didn't have the skills, you didn't have the judgment, you didn't have the perception and the balance to actually mold everything in the right way. And that's why it didn't work. It either broke, it got criticized to death, and it was very, very painful to you. But you do believe in it, and that's the main thing. And I feel you have been thinking about the processes involved in a very steady, logical, and practical way, and it's almost like you're building up the processes in your mind, and you looking to the future, and you're anticipating things that could go wrong, and analyzing things that had gone wrong and how to fix them now. And you're more aware of new processes, new ways of doing things that can be innovative by learning from your mistakes, basically. And that's going to give you your harmony and your fortune. It's interesting, these two cards are very similar in meaning, harmony and balance. And you're starting with it and you're ending with it. So you're going to be very pleased with it, and you're going to have fortune from it as well. And if you're doing it this Mercury retrograde, it could come pretty quickly by August. Or even September, October, so it's like pretty quick. So this is one as well. I think you know, it doesn't take a lot of time for you to complete, but it could even be performance art for a few of you. You know, you now know who to present it to, you know how to present it, you know in what order to do things, you know what's going to go wrong with props, you know what needs to withstand the elements, what's going to travel well, what's not, and that's all going to lead to your success. So you've got the mountain, the time. I shuffle the cards and they keep repeating. So you've got mountain, time, and the house. So it's time now. The blocks have gone, the obstructions have gone, and it's the right time for things. And you're going to be stable, you're going to grow in it. It's going to bring you a feeling of comfort and security, and I feel fortune. For some of you, it could also be that it is an actual house that you are working on, that you're renovating, or that you're adding some kind of cornice or some kind of special decoration to your home, and it's gonna really elevate the value of your home as well. And when it comes to the home, I'm seeing things like conservatories and like plaster, molded ceiling, something that's very opulent that a lot of people don't have anymore, but it's probably going to be the new trend in a few years or in a couple of years, and it's going to be really, really worth your time. So that is what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you get those projects completed and done, and that it brings you all the success and all the personal joy, fulfillment, and self-growth that you could ever wish for. So keep those vibes high, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.